wherever you are watching around the world. It's Sunday afternoon here in the United Kingdom, and of course where you're watching in Europe. My name is Adam Burns, and it is time for the Formula EuroLeague Champions League 2 round 3 here at Spa-Francorchamps at Belgium. Joining me here on commentary, I'm delighted to say, is my co-commentator Matthias. Matthias, welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good. Looking forward to a good race at this beautiful circuit. But first of all, we have qualifying, and qualifying won't be really important there because you can overtake her quite good. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, we've got an exciting roster of cars ready to get going. We've now
Yes.
round 3 for the season. Plenty of action already, and of course if you haven't seen any of the Formula EuroLeague Champions League 2 action so far, we've got 2 races that have already taken place. I won't spoil too much from those other than the obvious, so do make sure to check that out on the Formula EuroLeague channel. That's Formula_Euro_League. And of course, if you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, it's Euro_Formula, and on Instagram you've got the FEL_Champions League 2 and Formula_Euro_League for Tier 1. So it's time for qualifying now at Belgium, Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And no mean to say, Matthias, at the start of the season we're starting to get a picture as to which drivers in particular are looking to be the class of this field, and one in particular is Pluzenbol in the Ferrari.
AK Max, he already got promoted to a Tier 1 seat next season as a reserve for Williams, but he has won both races so far, 2 out of 2, getting 50 points, and behind him is a 25 points gap between him and the Red Bull driver MS Compassion. And then we have Mikey, also a Tier 1 driver who's showing good pace, but still 5 points behind. Then it's close between him and his teammate. Behind him we have Alex, aka GPL Jeff Baboon, Roy Boy, Avesta Racing, Collie, and that's all the guys in the top 8, all between 12 or more points. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's an exciting field so far. Glad you managed to run through that, actually. Saves me the trouble of worrying about that. But yes, the opening 2 races of this season, if you haven't checked them out already, please do. There's been some great on-track action so far. And
well, I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yep, no worries, to cover through. And of course, these 2 drivers here, Compassion and Pluzenbol behind him, the 2 leading drivers in this championship. Pluzenbol currently running away with it already. Can anyone stop him after his first 2 victories in Austria and Brazil? Will be interesting to see how he fares on today. Now, of course, this Belgian Grand Prix circuit, one of the more popular circuits on the calendar for a lot of the drivers, myself included, will be a great test of speed, endurance, and also abilities in the corners for a lot of our drivers. It's a real driver's track, and it'll be interesting to see some of the leading drivers, how they will tackle this circuit amongst others as well. Now, of course, we've got a few driver changes to mention at the start. So just to round off some of the orders, so we've got Killer 7 is replacing Just Mortal Veloz today in the racing point car, as you can see there, going very, very wide at the final corner, about to start his lap. And of course the traffic on the track, I should say, is going to be a real issue for a lot of the drivers to manage. It's really going to hamper their qualifying laps as we go around.
There are 4 guys on the mediums. It's Lucas, Pluzenbol, Mikey and Kai, and the rest is on softs. I think it's going to be medium soft or soft medium because it's a short race and the tires will be really getting towards getting a puncture on the last lap in the end if you push too hard in one of the 2 stints. But it's possible to do soft to mediums, but it is difficult, and you need to manage your tires well and don't want to crash into the famous Eau Rouge Rayon corner, where we'll probably see some crashes happening in the races or even already in qualifying.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. We've seen a lot of incidents like that. and hopefully the drivers will be able to get their setups right today and avoid such incidents. But of course, this is why we watch this, you never know what's going to happen. And now Heckkamper coming across the line, and he sets the first time of the session, 1:45.1. Not a bad effort, but we're expecting pole to be maybe in 1:43s, perhaps the early 1:44s at a push. And Matty's Gamer showing exactly what I was talking about, 1:43.8. So the first
really
representative time for the McLaren driver. Bjorn as well. So 1:44.3 from Bjorn, one of our newer drivers in there as well, replacing MX Max in the Red Bull. And of course, someone a little familiar to myself, or I'm hoping does well in the background, is Luke ___ Burns. I'm probably just going to call him Luke in this race. And yeah, in the Alfa Romeo debut in Formula Euro League, or Formula Champions League 2, I should say. Be interested to see how he gets on.
Damage Compassion retired.
Oh, that's a big one actually. So he's had a crash coming up towards the final sector.
House.
So he's it looks like he's grandma's house, the old grandma's house. That's right, yeah.
But
well, Stavelot, it's known as coming up to campus in Stavelot, so it looks like he's lost it coming out of turn 14 and gone straight into the wall through, and that's really going to hamper him as now Plusenbold comes across the line, the championship leader. What is he going to be able to do? And it's 1:48.8 on the medium tyres, very slow lap, so I don't know if he had traffic.
Mikey only 1.1 seconds of the time, and he's done a great medium lap, but Avesta Racing sets that first lap time with a 1:43.1. I think we might even see Plausible or Mikey or even Matthias going into the 1:42s, but it's going to be close. It's a good lap from the Ukrainian driver in his Williams.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Avesta Racing, podium finisher in Brazil.
Ooh,
did a great drive.
Fun coming through Grandma's house.
And Bendo getting out of the way there. Second fastest in Mercedes. So yeah, that's a great time from Avesta Racing. He's laying down the gauntlet. And well, I mean, in my mind, that has a very good chance of maybe getting on the pole, really. We may have already seen the pole time go through.
Let's go watch your brother Adam. He is the only one on a lap, so what can he do on the soft tires on this Alfa Romeo car?
Well, let's follow him for this lap now as he's going through. A bit of an invested interest in this guy, but of course we'll have to wait and see as he comes down the Camel Straight now into La Source. So let's follow him through the lap now as he comes under braking, and he set a purple in sector 1. Ooh. Luke Burns coming down the Camel Straight, so he's obviously no slouch there. He's coming into Les Combes and now through turns 8 and 9, coming down the straight into Bruxelles, formerly known as Radion. You want the car to drift out a little bit like it's done there. Get on to the power early. This goes through turns 11 into No Name, and now come down, let it run wide, just wide enough so you don't kiss the wall, coming down the straight into Pouon. You want the car to drift, but you don't want to clip the curves. It's just a little bit hesitant. Went in a bit too deep into the corner, but now he comes straight down, and we're coming to turns 13 and 14. Oh, he's gone very wide there as well, so he's pushing, but he really needs to get that car to grip. It's understeering on him just a little bit, and he's come through Stavelot, formerly known as Grandma's house.
He validated it.
Went a bit, and that's a shame.
Maybe put a bit more downforce on his setup.
Quite possibly. But of course, once you come out and commit to a setup on your first run, that is your setup for the race. So that's something he's going to have to battle with.
Fourth place.
Something he's going to have to battle with. Yeah, so that's a great time from Plusenbold.
Mikey by only a couple of thousandths of a second. Sorry if you hear me eating, it's lunchtime here in Holland and I got a broodje croquette. Some guys are familiar with it.
The professionalism is real here in Formula Euro League.
My mum brought it, I can't ignore it.
No, well, this sounds great. I mean, I wouldn't want to deny you if what your mum brings you in terms of food-wise. I'm sure it's lovely. I just had a bowl of muesli for breakfast before we started this stream anyway, so I'm good for a while. Well, we're an hour behind in the UK, so and I slept in a little bit this morning, so we're all good. Anyway, back to the racing. We've got KJ Eltink now, who's coming down the Camel Straight in a Renault. First lap for him. Obviously, that double retirement for Renault between him and IST. Renault really need to score some big points. Hopefully to see if they can do that again today. As he set a purple in Sector 1, so we're seeing that a lot. People setting purple sectors in Sector 1. So Avesta Racing, by the sounds of it, may be running a higher downforce setup maybe finds a lot more time in the middle sector, which is good for qualifying, but it might hurt him in the race.
He validated it, no.
Well, it's very strict corner cutting rules. We're starting to see a bit of traffic coming down the Camel Straight. A lot of drivers on outlaps.
Well, as we see, he struggled a bit in the first chicane, getting it too low in the gears in third gear actually, and that's not what you want. You just want to get there in fourth, maybe in fifth gear, but fourth gear will guarantee you the best rotation.
Yeah, it's always good to lower the gear down when you go very wide, as we're just seeing YW_Marcus show an example of how to get it all wrong going through Brussels there, going very, very wide on the corner. And now we're with the other Alfa Romeo driver, FEL3, who's going to get a nice toe off his teammate there, playing the team game. That's going to be worth a good 10th or 2 in the first sector, as you can see. 29.6 in the first sector, not a purple one, but I'm sure he'd be pretty happy with that. And it's important to get that balance absolutely right, Matthias. As we were saying before, this is a track where you've got the high-speed sections coming through Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane, and you've also got the Camel Straight as well, as Roy Boy gets a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Killer 7. Ooh. But in the middle sector in particular, you want to get the downforce just right. You don't want the car to understeer. You want to carry the speed, because in the middle sector, it's truly where you really make up the time on this track. For those of you unfamiliar with the Belgian Grand Prix and its history, it's definitely one of the more popular circuits on the calendar since its reformation back in the 1980s after the track was proved too dangerous under the old format. It's a track shrouded in much history. This was the circuit where Michael Schumacher made his debut in Formula 1 in 1991. Strange enough, after replacing...
He burned his clutch.
Yes, that's right. His clutch was ruined after the first lap, but his qualifying performance was absolutely brilliant in the Renault.
Ooh, Lucas goes second fast, and
yeah, that's a great lap.
As we speak about Michael Schumacher, he got picked up by Jordan. I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, so he was in the Jordan for 91, but he was only in the Jordan for I think just that one race, because he was signed up by Benetton straight afterwards.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is absolute history. Obviously, he won there a year later. His first win in Formula 1, first of 91 wins. Of course, we had the legendary first lap. Yeah, we had the first lap crash in 98. Well, literally all the cars bar 3 made it out of La Source. And obviously, in 2000 as well, in my opinion, the greatest overtake of all time between Mika Häkkinen and Michael Schumacher, where both of them separated themselves from lapping Ricardo Zonta in the BAR, and Häkkinen used that to overtake Schumacher around the outside into
Avesta getting a purple sector 2 there, so he has a higher downforce setup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's looking good so far in the Williams car. The Ukrainian driver still 4/10 in front of his in the car behind, so can he improve his time to maybe the first one in the 142s? Looks a bit tight into the last bus stop chicane. It's an okay exit. What can he do?
And he's in 142.8. That is a very, very quick time.
Wait, let's watch the Tier 1 qualifying results so we can compare them.
I mean, that's very, very quick.
Is 7/10 behind him. So that's a good gap to have when you're with 5 minutes to go.
Well, Avesta Racing definitely showing why he is definitely up there at the top order. And now, well, go back to Plusenbol. So we haven't seen much of him in qualifying. Did his times on the medium tyres. Still would have been good enough in the top 10 at the moment with a 1:44.1, but he's put on the soft tyres now. He has to respond to Avesta Racing. Avesta has laid down the gauntlet. Plusenbol sets a purple middle sector as he comes into the final corner there, carries a lot of speed, manages to get it, but the exit is just as important, opens up the DRS, he comes across the time. What is the time going to be? 1:43.2. So he's on the front row of the grid, but he's still 0.4 of a second off of Avesta.
And oh yeah guys, we're already almost at 150 subscribers, so it's gone really, really fast. 4 races ago we reached the 100, so thank you for that. I can't really find the Tier 1 qualifying results, so I'm just going to rewind the race.
It might be a bit further in previous seasons. I'm not sure if they've been to Belgium in Tier 1.
There isn't the Belgian stream because there was a problem.
Ah, right. Oh, that might have been the race. That might have been the race I was meant to cover early in the season. Then it all went completely wrong. So I do apologise for that, guys.
They didn't told me. Well, first of all, the appointment was there won't be a race that weekend because I was at my dad's place as head camper goes to P5. Eventually there was a race, and there was a bit of chaos on the last day at Sunday. But yeah, it only happened once. We haven't had a stream.
So Ice-T goes third fastest, 1:43.3. Sorry to cut you off there, Matthias. But yeah, and Ice-T. So this following around the track and just at the back of the field as well, Luke Burns.
Final corner.
Yeah, he's invalidated another lap, but I don't think he's trying on this lap. I think he's trying to race to the pit lane. He really needs to try and hook it up because at the moment he's sitting plumb last, not setting a time. It's very easy to get your lap invalidated on this circuit, it must be said. So we'll have to wait and see if
four guys haven't set a lap time.
Well, he's only going to get one more shot at the moment. So hopefully
Marcus gets a purple sector 2, if I'm not wrong. Gets a good slipstream from TTV iQuicks up to Blanchemont. Can he connect to his Williams teammate in P1? Can he set his first lap time? What's the first time?
But he comes to the bus stop chicane now.
Yeah.
He's got a bit deep into there, but he's managed to hold it round. He's come through the final corner. The back end sticks out a little bit as he comes across the line. Now, what is the time going to be?
P14 only.
Only 14th.
That's, and Mikey is the only one who haven't set a lap time on the soft, so he is now trying to it. But I don't know if it's a good sector 1 coming through up to Blanchemont for 50 seconds already. I don't know. I'm not a good time at sector times, but he needs to get a good lap time in. He won't have another chance.
Well, we've got 4 drivers so far that haven't set a time, one of which right now then with KJ Elting coming through Blanchemont now, the final sector is just a purple middle sector. So clearly this downforce on this circuit is definitely the way to go at the moment. He comes through the final corner now. This one is definitely going to count as Plusenbold calls it a day as he comes across the 9 now. What is the time going to be for KJ Elting? And he goes fastest.
1:42.5.
Wow.
What a lap.
Well, indeed. Great effort from him. And now gonna have to wait and see.
Maybe Vesta can fight back. What can Mike do? Gets a bit of a slipstream from Troy, aka Ice-T. In the Renault, gets killed on the last corner. And now through the bus stop chicane, opens up DRS, stick to the inside. He fought good lap, but still
great
quite
job.
some time.
MDJ going for fastest. So with TTVI Quicks now, another driver that needs to set a time in the sister Ferrari where his teammate is doing so well, 3rd fastest overall. Now he's coming down the final sector now, so we're going to follow the Ferrari driver now as he comes through as quick as he can now through Blanchemont. Oh, there's a lot of traffic in front of him, but it's not slowed him down, fortunately. Now comes up to the bus stop chicane, which used to be facing the other way years ago, and there used to be 2 of them, even further back. Comes through the final corner now, opens up the DRS. What's the time going to be? And it's a 1:45.2, so it's 16th fastest for iQuicks, and that looks like his qualifying is over unless he decides to go around again.
Oh, your brother needs to get in a hurry if he wants to make the line.
Well, there is a delay normally on the timing, so we'll have to keep in mind, but he is cutting it.
Oh, is he going to make it?
Very close indeed. So. It's going to be very tight. I think he may just do it.
Come on. Yeah, he should make it. He should
fine.
Make it. Get a good exit.
But the question remains, Matthias, has he used up all of his tyres just to get across the line? So he crosses the line now. So now anyone who crosses the line will complete their lap. You are allowed to complete your flying lap if you're currently on one. So let's stay with him now. Let's see what Luke Burns, our newest driver in Formula EuroLeague, what can he do? Can he get a legal lap on board? That's important. Otherwise, he's going to be starting last.
Alex.
Yes, Alex as well, coming through just ahead of him up the road, so we'll be keeping an eye on those two. As Avesta Racing has decided to call it quits on that.
Ooh.
So it's a 30.1 in Sector 1 for Luke, so not the fastest first sector by any means. But he's been working hard, he's been practicing.
Gets a bit of traffic from Bendel. No, that just... Oh no, why you're... Oh god. As we said before, just retire into the pit lane. Don't go off track, but on track, because you'll get those situations. Bit of ruining Alex's sector 2 time there by blocking him completely.
Yeah, you can see.
Out of no name.
That's really going to cost
really
Alex.
onto the curbs.
It's coming through last horse now. What's it going to be for Alex in the middle sector? It's a 1:15.9, not bad, but he's going to have to really get a move on to see if he goes up the order. Knowing
Really
Alex fairly
uses
well.
all the track he can use. Sector 2 FS Racing joined back. He is the one to set a lap time. Are some guys crossing the line, but him, Killer, your brother, and Alex are the only ones to set a lap time.
Well, Alex comes through the final corner now, so this lap is definitely going to count for him. What's it going to be as he comes across the line, opens up the DRS. This is going to be a quick one, actually. And, oh, well, only 16th. I thought it was going to be quicker than that.
Your brother coming through the final corner.
He's a bit down on Alex's time, so Luke's going to be not quite as quickly, and only 18th fastest. So it's a legal lap time, and I don't think he'll be overly happy with that. But that is qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. A bit of a mixed build, but we'll go back to the front now, as we realise we've spent a lot of time on drivers at the back. But that is qualifying, and it's KJ_L team with a monster time of a 1:42.5. Avesta looked like he had pole in the bag, but clearly not this time. He settles for second. Matthias Gamer coming up to third out of nowhere in the McLaren. Great job from him. Plusenbo, our championship leader, only 4th fastest. MDJ in the system McLaren 1:43.2, just behind him on the 3rd row, with Ice-T filling that in 6th in the Renault. AMC F33 in the Haas 1:43.3 is 7th fastest, with FEL Freeze in the Alfa Romeo in 8th. Bendel 001 in Mercedes 9th fastest, with LJ_Bjorn completing the top 10 in the Red Bull.
Adam, do I have a question of the week for the Belgian Grand Prix or not?
Yeah, no, I do. I'll have to think of one that I've got in my head. Bear with me. I did have one in mind, so just bear with me, guys, on that one.
It's probably... Oh, we might have a rainy race because it's really dark, and... Or is it going to stay dry, or is it going to rain a little bit?
Well, the track conditions is still dry at the moment by the looks of it, but you're right, wet weather could play its part in this Grand Prix. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out.
Session starting in 20 seconds.
So we're about to get underway. So we're about to get underway for the formation lap, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe to the Formula Euro League channel. It's Formula_Euro_League. Obviously we appreciate and love your undying support to us in the channel, and we hope that you can continue to support us.
Kai is still stuck in first place on the formation lap.
Yeah, it's a bit strange at the moment with the lobby, but everyone's just going through the formation lap. It's okay though, we won't worry about that too much, Matthias. So, what are your thoughts in this race? Who do you think we should be looking out for in this race?
I think the last race, Pluisenbol made a good comeback from P3, so you might see him winning 3 out of 3, but I think Avesta has a good chance of Kai. I don't think it's really fair that tier 1 drivers are in the league, in the tier 2, but... For example, you don't see the VRL admins in the tier 2 race, and you see here Kai and Ice-T not even doing that great. I see P6 only. Yeah.
So we'll have to see how they get on. But of course, some of the debutants, how are they going to get on in this race? Obviously LR_Bjorn in the Red Bull, 10th fastest in qualifying. Hope to see how he gets on in this race. Killer 7 in the Racing Point, obviously make his debut in this race as well in 14th. And then of course Luke Burns at the back, didn't really get it together in qualifying, but from what I've seen of him, he's faster in the race than in qualifying to be consistent. And he might be a little bit nervous, but hopefully for him, we'll see how it goes on. But he's chosen to run the harder tyres, so obviously he wants to go long in this racing.
Also,
sorry, you were saying?
Alex never really good qualified, but he has 9 out of 10 times he has a good race and gets to a good point scoring finish, and Belgian is a track where you can overtake quite easily. As we saw last season in Tier 1, where we saw some great moves by a lot of guys, and it's 22 laps of full throttle on this legendary Belgian circuit. Yeah, and now, as we speak, we're lining up on the grid for the third race of the Formula Euroleague second tier, with the Williams in the second row and the Renault.
So we're about to line up for the grid, guys. So just about to get the race underway. Actually, I might wait for my question to come after it's got the start. Obviously, there's one or two drivers not there. A bit strange. But nevertheless, we're about to get underway now. Get comfortable, turn up the volume, put the kids into the other room, or put them in front of the telly if they feel inclined to watch it, as we're about to get underway, as it's 4 lights and 5 lights, and it is time to go. Racing, and it's a drive-through penalty for Heckkamper. We had a few of these before earlier, and it's got away well. As KJ Elting's got away into Lassos and into the first corner. Vesta Racing goes deep in as KJ goes very, very wide into turn 1, and Vesta takes the lead, and MDJ off the line, it's up into second place. Great start from him. And Plusenbol managed to hold on the fourth, but he's under massive pressure.
Almost loses it, save for Vesta.
And Plusenbol. Oh, and they're all going to come down the Kemmel straight now. Safety car, VSC already. So yeah, so King Kiski and Heckkamper, and that is the 2 Toro Rosso drivers out already. Both of them losing it up the top of Eau Rouge and Radion, and they are out of the race already. And we have a virtual safety car. So what a crazy start that is. We're going to have to keep an eye on penalties.
Ooh, Gibraltar got a 5-second time penalty. Multiple collisions with MS Combustion, but what a start we had. Car getting a really bad exit out of turn 1, and MDG getting an absolute monster start. Detail positions changed already, gained 3, and TTV Icons had a good start, gaining 6 places, save for Roy Boy and Marcus getting both 5 places. So it's been a good start from a couple of guys. Luisterpool, the championship leader, still in 4th place, sorry.
We can see TTVI Quicks in the Ferrari making up 6 places, but we're just getting underway once again, as we should say. So we're back under racing, green flag racing once again as everyone gets going.
Goes a bit wide.
It's now Vesta Racing's leading him through now as it goes through Blanchimont, but MDJ is staying within his slipstream, getting behind him, getting a massive toe on him. Is he going to make the lunge into the final corner? Probably going to tuck in. And MDJ this time decides to hold on, but KJ Elting is going very wide, goes straight into the pit lane. Very strange there.
The Ferrari.
Very strange decision there because he hasn't got any damage, but nonetheless we're back underway again as now FEO Racing in the Alfa Romeo goes to the inside into Lassos, goes very deep, locking the brakes, but he gets that move ahead of Ice-T and he's up into 5th position. Great overtake from him. Let's go further down the orders.
3 guys into the pit lane.
Going through, yeah, so MES Compassion down into 15th place. He's obviously struggling. Oh, he looks like the bot taken over for him. It's Jaffa Baboon trying to climb up the order now. What can he do? Coming from 13th on the softer tyres. Going through the order now as Marcus tries to go at the inside of Collie in the Mercedes for 9th and 10th position, but he tucks in and holds on to that. Well, what a start for a Vesta Racing. Not deterred by that pole position from KJ Elting, who once again, despite his brilliant qualifying performance, was not able to capitalise on that. Went very wide into turn 1 off the start. Now Vesta Racing picking up where he left off in Brazil now, leading the race. Clear track ahead of him. Looks like he may have the setup and the car to take him to the finish, but of course we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. Let us know in the comment section.
Pushing to Bendel. She's losing a bit of time to Ice-T, and there's a bit of a train starting to form after Lucas, as Matthias is trying to pull away from him, which is a bit succeeding in it, as Luisterpool has a good chance of overtaking Mikey as he's in the slipstream on Blanchimont, going to the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, you're right, he's got a brilliant toe now. He's going to jink to the right, jink to the left, comes back in, he just lets him know that he's there. Just lets him know that he's there, and he's going to have an excellent. And sometimes it's always good to just pull in there, hang back, and then wait for the DRS to come down the Kemmel straight.
The fastest lap.
As you can see, Roy Boy and Ice-T has gone into the pits now in the Renault, so everyone going up the order now.
5-second time penalty. DRS is enabled, so we see some probably more overtakes now. When the DRS is enabled, where are the battles going on? It is Marcus really close to the back of Collie. Is he going to have trouble from the dirty air? A little bit on the radio corner. Can he get into the DRS? Yes, he is. And is he going to overtake him? On the camel side, he needs to watch his mirrors from Roy Boy. Don't try there around the outside.
Yeah, as Marcus has got almost going in there. Collie is going to hold it out there. Forces him, but it's very respectful racing. But Marcus can't carry the momentum coming through Lassor and Lake Com, sorry I should say. And he's not able to hold on to that place. So Collie...
mirrors more as AMC retired into the pit lane. So might be a bit frustrated as Roy Boy is getting a lot of dirty air coming through no name corner to Blanche. Sorry, go on. I was getting a bit confused with the name of corners. As Pluisbos again catching up to Mikey, as he might be running a higher downforce setup than the McLaren.
Well, sometimes some drivers are quicker over one lap, and then there are others that are quicker in the race. Plusenbol in particular is a good qualifier, but his real strength lies in his race pace, and he always seems to go as fast as he needs to.
To play with.
Well, he's no DRS coming down through Blanchimont for obvious reasons, and obviously now he's got a great run in him. Is he going to go to the outside or inside as MDJ holds his line? He goes to the outside. Plusenbol late on the brakes as he likes to dare, and they're so close to contact, but Plusenbol looks like he might make that move stick, and he's going to get DRS coming down the back straight, and he's up into second position. That's a great overtaking from Plusenbol.
Yeah, that shows the quality of the Ferrari driver, and he deserved got a seat for tier 1. As Alex is a bit stuck behind your brother, losing it quite some time.
Yeah, I think Alex has had a bit of an issue there because he was ahead of Luke earlier on.
Fighting back, going on the outside. Can't stick it in there.
Yeah,
he's got DRS from the camel straight.
Well, that's well defended from Plusenbol there, managed to keep him at bay, and that's what he needs to do. The last thing you want to do once you're overtaking someone, especially in Belgium, is to be re-overtaken coming down the camel straight and into Lake Com, and Plusenbol's held him off very, very well there, and now he's going to go up the field to chase after a Vesta Racing now, who's now a second ahead in the lead. And he's going to have to try and see if he can get away from Plusenbol, which is easier said than done. These two had some interesting battles in Brazil, and now they're going to reconvene, re-emerge once again for the next fight in Formula Euroleague _ Champions League 2. Second tier to Formula Euroleague. And if you're liking what you're seeing, guys, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Please let us know what you think in the chat. Well, obviously we're going to love hearing from you and love your support, helping us out so far. Help us get to 200 subscribers by the end of this season, maybe. It's possible. But
yeah, I think it's a good goal. As Roy Boy is quite close to Marcus in his slipstream to Blanchimont. Is he going to copy the move that Pluisbol did on Mikey? I think he's just too far away. Or is he
to know, he might go for a lunge at the inside. He's very close to him into the bus stop chicane. Not quite this time. I'll tell you.
Marcus to go wide.
Yeah, Marcus has gone very wide, and he's going to go for the switchback. Yeah, you're right. Coming across the line now, he's going to get DRS as well.
From Roy.
Yeah, and into Lassor. But it's a good tactic.
Good move.
Marcus is going to get a great run now, going into Eau Rouge and Radion.
You need to watch the dirty air coming from the behind. Oh, as he almost pushed it. That was what I was going to say. You need to watch the dirty air from the car because it will really catch you out really quick.
Yeah, and further in front, MDJ in the McLaren is having a battle with FEL3s for third, fourth and fifth. Matthias Gamer now starting to form a train of cars behind him, 4 or 5 cars, all within a few seconds of each other. And Matthias now having a hard time keeping him back, but MDJ sticking behind his teammate. Maybe the McLarens may need to switch positions now to avoid MDJ being held up any further. Matthias starting to really struggle on them softer tyres, and
Mikey getting a lot of dirty air coming to Pouhon.
There was a battle going on.
There's a yellow flag for Renault.
Yeah, I think it was a battle between Jaffa Baboon and Luke Burns for 12th and 13th, and they were very close to each other going through Les Combs, I should say, but Luke Burns emerging on top. Not quite sure what happened there, but Jaffa Baboon now having to recover once again.
Oh, Luke is going wide. out of Grandma's house. Losing a bit of time to Bendel as he is really close to the gearbox of the German.
Well, Bendel's looking for a move up FEL Freeze, and he's got a great run on him coming through Blanchimon. And he's going to go for a move the inside. I think the tow he's getting from MD James McLaren really helped him out FEL Freeze and the sister Alfa Romeo. And hopefully for him...
Björn, in 7th place, let me think of Benjamin always being behind the train. And then once he makes his move, as he won his first maiden Grand Prix in Japan in Tier 1 last week, as we see Pluisbol really close to Avesta Racing. Can he overtake him?
Well, he's gone for a move for the lead actually now.
Going around the outside.
It goes late on the brakes, but Avesta manages to hold on to that position. He's going further up, so this very great race and almost missing it as Bendel and Bjorn further back for 6th and 7th, having their own little battle between them two.
Great respect between those two. Bendel going really hard onto the grass. Marcus retired from the session.
And it's a safety car. So I don't know what happened to Marcus there. As Marcus has crashed, he's come out of late comms and he's absolutely smashed into the wall. As you can see, we're on board with Jaffa Baboon. He's lost it coming out of late comms and he's out of the race. And iQuicks gets a penalty for exceeded track limits. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the penalties there, Matthias, as this race unfolds. So now we're under safety car, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, some of the drivers may decide now is a good time to make a pit stop, perhaps, and go for
This is going to be good for MS Compassion. Oh, he's way back down the order.
Yeah, he's had a nightmare race, considering he finished 2nd in the season. But I believe, has he come back in? His car looks solidified now, so now it looks like he's back in the session. I think he disconnected earlier, and the bot controlled his car. It might still be, I'm not sure, but looking like he's back in the action now. But yeah, I was just saying, if you were a driver right now, Matthias, would you use this as an opportunity maybe to put on a set of hard tyres to go to the end?
Could be. I would do it as Avesta Racing goes into the pit lane. Same for Pluisbol.
So yeah, we're starting to see this now.
A call. Adam.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see, but it looks like that's what they're going to do. I'm expecting to see some harder tyres now. Battle with a pit crews.
To the mediums he goes.
Pluisenbol goes onto the mediums. What does Avesta put on? So he's going on the... He's going on hard... He's going on the hard tyres.
Oh no, medium hard, it's a glitch.
No, I
think in front of.
No, he's on the hard tyres, definitely, yeah. So Pluisenbol putting on the mediums, I think that's a bit risky. 16 laps, but then with the safety car taking away another couple of laps, that may work in his favour. Remember, in the Brazilian Grand Prix, Pluisenbol put on the medium tyres and ended up going on to win, whereas Compassion put on the harder tyres to try and undercut, but the strategy didn't really pay off for him towards the end of the race. It just ran out of time and laps.
As Scully is in the lead, probably he still needs to pit. Yes, he does. Is he going to pit later on, or is he going to take advantage of the safety car?
Well, Collie, it's interesting because this safety car, I think, has come out the right time for the soft tyre runners to really dump their tyres and do their one scheduled pit stop and try to go to the end of the race in them. As for some of the other drivers that have gone for harder tyres to start the race, for example, let's see, Daniel, Luke Burns in 7th position is on tyres. Not bad, but this safety car's not really come at the best time for him, even though he's made up some places, his strategy. So he's definitely going to have to pit again onto softer tyres later on. But yeah, he's still hanging it in there. Seems to have got more penalties at the moment than Man United do in a full season at the moment. But so far, keeping it clean as best as he can, hanging it in there, and yeah, good to see him. Hopefully he's enjoying it in the cockpit there. A little respite before he goes on for the second stint of this race. His teammate FEL Freeze pulled on the tyres, on the hard tyres, so he's going to go to the end, and the sister Alfa Romeo. But so while the safety car is out, guys, time for me to give my questions. So a slightly bit easier if you are on the right mind of thinking this week, but here it is. So in 2012, this driver set the fastest lap of the race in 2012, whilst a relative of his from the past never did that at Belgium, despite winning there 6 times. Can you name the driver that set that fastest lap in 2012? So I'll repeat the question. In 2012, one of the drivers set a fastest lap of the race at the Belgian Grand Prix, his only one of his career, whilst a relative of his that competed in F1 in the past never set a fastest lap in Belgium despite winning there 6 times. Can you name the driver that set that fastest lap in 2012? And obviously, Matthias, I know you'll be checking too, but try not to spoil it. We'll wait and see in the chat.
I don't know. As Scotty touches a bit with the safety car.
We'll wait and see in the chat, see if anyone can get there. And obviously, if it gets to a point later on when it's not, I'll see if you can guess it right.
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so I can repeat the question and make it clear. So in 2012, a Formula 1 driver got the fastest lap of the race in the 2012 Belgian Grand Prix, whilst a relative of theirs in the past never actually got a fastest lap in Belgium, but won there 6 times. Can you name the driver which got the fastest lap in 2012? That's the clue. They have a relative in Formula 1 that won in Belgium 6 times in their career, but never got a fastest lap here. If you can work out the driver that got the 6 wins and no fastest lap in their career in Belgium, then you should be able to figure out which driver got fastest lap in 2012, their relative. I can't say the relation. I can't say the relation because that will give it away.
I'm not so smart, but I know I have 2 options in my head. But
to make this,
we saw, I'm not that smart on your questions.
I don't know. You do rather well on some of these.
Right.
Yeah, you did. You've done it. Yeah.
I got it a couple of times, but a couple of times not. But this time, I'm not so sure about my answer.
Well, we'll see. So we've seen a few. So there is a correct answer in the chat. So we'll have to wait and see if anyone else can get there. But yeah, I can confirm there is a correct answer. Someone's got it right. They're on the right line of thinking. I think the best way to do it is to think of drivers that have had relatives drive in the past with the same name. And as Luke Burns, as I say, more penalties than Man United has got another penalty for colliding with Bjorn.
Oh.
So be interesting to see where his race ends up later on. But the last thing he wants to do, and one thing he's going to have to learn as his online career goes on, is you need to try and avoid penalties. It's all fine being quick and consistent, but if you get penalised for penalties, it's really going to hurt your race later on.
Yeah.
But now the safety car is about to come in this lap now, guys, so I hope you've got comfortable again. Grab yourself something from the fridge, got yourself a cup of tea as we're enjoying the current lockdown wherever you are around the world. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And of course, as we're about to get underway, as the safety car pulls off into the distance, as Collie is leading the pack, now effectively becomes the safety car. And we're about to get underway. A lot of drivers have made their opening pit stops and are ready to get going now as everything falls silent before the V6 turbocharged Formula 1 cars now comes through as Collie gets onto the power, leads the pack through. We're about to get back under green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're all ready because this is about to get very, very bumpy indeed as Collie pulls into the pit lane. Oh, well, talk about building up the suspense. He's just let me down there. Oh well, anyway, nonetheless, Avesta Racing now back into the lead with Plusenbol reconvening the battle, catching up just where we left off with those two.
Luke overtook Bendel going to the source hairpin, but he's
gone for a dive bomb.
Bendel's really good fighting back. Is he going to go side by side to Radion?
It's going to Radion just like Weapon Alonso 2012. Luke holds it wide, but can he hold it? He goes off the track to overtake, but he may have to let Bendel through there. Let's go through the back of the Kemmel straight, but Plusenbol is going for moving the Eva on the outside.
Overtake for the podium as it's at the front.
That's pretty wide. There's a lot of carnage as KJ Elton goes up the outside and Luke Burns holds it around the outside, and Luke Burns goes up into 6th place, but he's lost a bit of his front wing end plate on that left side. Plusenbol wasn't able to make it into the lead.
Oh, as Royberg goes for the final point, and Mikey losing a lot of positions under the safety car conditions, as Plusenbol is on a faster compound than Avesta Racing is, so he wants to overtake him ASAP. But it won't be really easy in Sector 2. Mikey is so going side by side through Pujon.
Go very there, and Roy is getting absolutely mugged now, and Jaffa Baboon getting very racy behind him. He wants to get in front.
Going wide and getting overtaken by Guy and maybe Bendel. Bendel trying it.
Oh, there's just so many cars, all in a big cluster of cars.
Oh, your brother goes wide and loses the car.
Oh, and he's out.
Retiring.
Oh, what a shame for Luke Burns on his debut out
What a
of the
crash.
race. And that's a virtual safety car. He's completely smashed it. Oh, that is a shame. I feel for him.
Hard crash.
It's a hard one, but that is the cruel nature of this racing. You've really got to be careful as it goes through there. Some of the viewers would have been a bit shocked. It's a virtual safety car, and that's a shame for Luke Burns. He was driving relatively well, but it's the cruel nature of online league racing, especially here in Formula Euro League. You cannot afford to get caught up in incidents, and just like that, your race can be over an incident. We're back under green flag racing now as Avesta Racing coming through up Eau Rouge and Radion now. Leads the field again.
Over.
Yeah, VSC's over now. So we're back under green flag racing now as Plusenbold gets a great swerve in behind him. No DRS straight away. We've got to get back under racing first. It goes to the outside. He's going to make the move this time. Straight to the inside. And he holds on to the lead. But Plusenbold is all over the back of him on the fresh medium tyres.
Watch the battle for 7th place, where are 5 cars involved. All 5 different teams. So
yeah, so you've got Renault leading, McLaren leading, Racing Point leading, Red Bull leading, Haas. All liners stirred in that battle.
Also look at MS Compassion having a bit of luck in the safety car, getting up to P10 already from last place to P10 under safety car conditions. As Pluisbol is struggling with the car through sector 2. Sector 3, is he going to make an overtake on Avesta? He has a lot of ERS to play with. Same for Avesta, but he has the slipstream coming through Blanchimont. Where is he going? Left, right, middle? You never know. Is he going for the big ballsy dive bomb? Avesta covers the inside. He's going to ride around the outside of the bus stop chicane. Gets forced off track almost. Tries to do a bit of a switchback now as Matthias in his mirrors. And there's a big gap between Bandel and Bjorn. As Pluisbol is still set in P2. He needs to wait till D with the DRS on the Camel Straight, where he has a big chance of overtaking him. For the top spot once again. He's going to make it 3 out of 3 with 11 laps to go halfway through the race. He's going to get some good DRS from the Williams. Williams has 0 DRS. Is he going? Matthias getting also involved. He's now trying to go around the outside of the corner. I don't know the name of. As Avesta gets slightly on his hard tires and forces.
He's gone for the switchback now, and Plusenbold goes for a move at the inside, and he's going to get him at Bruxelles here, and he goes in late on the brakes, and he's up into the lead. Great driving from Plusenbold. He really sized that move. He went left, he went right, just waited for the opportunity for the mistake to come, and then when it did, that Ferrari straight through into the lead now.
And can Matthias improve from the better tires he has, as Avesta Racing is a bit struggling through some of corners. Sliding through the corners. It's a good train to P5, so all between 1 second of each other, 4 tenths, even 5 tenths. As Pluisbol was trying to pull away from the Williams, and Matthias is trying to overtake on the Williams. As he needs to watch his mirrors from the Alfa Romeo driver Lucas, who is looking good so far.
Well, we've had the top 5 breaking away from the chasing pack behind him now.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're starting to all get into their rhythm.
No.
As Bjorn goes up from over the inside, he's gone for a bit of a ballsy dive bomb, perhaps a bit too ballsy this time, but he manages to avoid going into the back of the Alfa Romeo in front of him. It's an impressive debut for him so far, but of course, you want to avoid.
Compassion overtook Royboy, as Royboy is being put under pressure from Alex Bomber. Good voice crack by myself, as they are fighting for the final point on this grid. One single point, as Bjorn is trying to follow Lucas through Radion. It's a really good exit compared to Lucas, both opening up the DRS. Come on the outside of the chicane. Who's going to get the favor? It's Bjorn now ahead. Can he stick it in there? Yes, he has. Lucas has been overtaken, but is he going to try to do the switchback move to the Brussels corner? As Bjorn looks up quite heavily, and there's this yellow flag for Royboy, who got to skip the whole chicane. Bjorn overtook Lucas, as Plausible is trying to break the DRS from Avesta Racing, as Avesta Racing now needs to watch once again in his mirrors from Matthias. Matthias going a bit wide into the corner there, as he tries to follow the Williams and get his... I don't know if he scored a podium at Adam. Did he score a podium in Brazil or Austria?
I think Avesta definitely scored a podium in Brazil. Matthias, yeah, I think Matthias might have got one in Austria early on, but he's in the wars now at the moment. His teammate MDJ further down in 8th and 9th place, now battling with Emius Compassion, who's managed to claw his way up the field despite being completely nowhere earlier on in the race. Now up into 8th position, and now MDJ is going to go for a move on the outside. Not this time. Ice-T gets a time penalty for exceeding track limits. It's coming through the action now, halfway through the race now, so to cap what has been a very action-packed race so far. So Plusenbowl back into the lead in the Ferrari, only ahead of Avesta Racing now by half a second as they go through Eau Rouge and Radion. And Matthias Gamer now is up into 3rd position and is right on the back of Avesta Racing. He's got a great toe. He's coming through the down on the Kemmel straight, chinks to the outside on the left-hand side. Is he going to have the speed to overtake Avesta Racing and get laid on the brakes? Where they're going to end up until one hungs around the outside, but Avesta Racing once again putting his car in the right position, using that downforce package he's got in that Williams very well to hold on to 2nd position now as they go through Pichel's. Linus 3rd, literally half a car length between them at the moment. Very difficult to see what's going to happen now as MDJ and Jaffa Baboon now fighting for 9th and 10th. MDJ was right behind the Red Bull, still is, but now he's got to fend off a Haas who's lurking in his mirrors, getting very close behind him now for 9th and 10th. Jaffa Baboon back in the action once again after a poor showing in qualifying. He's well amongst the point scorers at the moment and looking like he's hungry for more at the moment. We'll see how that unfolds.
Oh, Matthias almost loses his car in the exit of the corner, getting too greedy on the curb and saving it quite good, as he now needs to tuck in and watch his mirrors, as Bjorn is quite close to him, both having quite similar ERS levels. And who is going to make the overtake? Both 3 or 4 tenths.
Well, he's got a good toe on him, but Matthias is getting the toe off the Williams in front of him, so should be able to go through. Is he going to go for a lunge this time? He's a bit too far away. He doesn't want to compromise his exit, as now they're going to have to defend all the way for the 1st sector. Now he's opened up the DRS. He gets a bit squirmish when he's back on the throttle, as we're now...
Watch Jeff Baboon and Mikey battling for 9th place. Mikey has been overtaken by Alex, as Plausible breaks the DRS to Avesta Racing still. So nothing changed yet at the... Oh, there is Mikey! At Lasor's hairpin on the exit, probably getting too early on the throttle and hitting the wall and having 0 damage of it, so he's been lucky there.
Oh, as Matthias has gone around the outside of Avesta Racing, coming into late comms, and he's going to make that move stick. He does. He's up into 2nd take. So this time around, up into 2nd position now for Matthias Gamer. He's been very quick, and Avesta is starting to struggle now on that hard set of tyres. Has he chosen the wrong compound? Is that going to cost him as this race unfolds? He's already lost 2 positions now, and LR Bjorn is looking very also on the medium tyres. Field Freeze has fallen away from this lead group in the Alfa Romeo, probably having the same problem as Jaffa Baboon has moved up into 8th position. He's overtaken Compassion.
He's on fire.
Jaffa Baboon is absolutely flying. Alex, colleague of mine at VRL, doing brilliant work in the commentary booth, equally doing an excellent job on the track to climb up the order after a poor showing in qualifying.
About the tires, Matthias and the guys on the mediums probably have now the better tires, but at the end I think Avesta will have the better tires, or the hard runners.
Well, that's absolutely right at this point of the race. But Avesta now is hanging it up the inside. He's got a great toe on him. He's going to go for a lunge at the bunch stop chicane. Not this time. And he goes very late on the brakes. Oh, he's gone very late on the brakes, and he's literally shunted Matthias. But Matthias has managed to hold on to his car. And I can see, is there any damage on the Williams? No, thankfully. And he's going to go around the outside of Lay Source into turn 1. But he's got Bjorn, who's very close behind him. He's got a McLaren in front of him. He's got a Red Bull behind him. He's going to have plenty to think about as he comes up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Literally, you couldn't even fit a bus ticket between those 2 cars at the moment. They're that close behind. And he's got an excellent run through.
And DRS and ERS favor.
And I think Matthias is going to get double mugged here. He's been passed by Vesta, and now down the outside into turn number 5.
down the outside.
Great job, double overtake. So Matthias got up to second, and in the space of literally a sector, 30 seconds, he's lost 2 positions into 1 corner. Great stuff here.
Might be struggling a bit with the tires after he lost his momentum when he got shunted by Avesta. Avesta been lucky not to get damage of it, but still.
Bendel's gone round the outside in no name from FEL Freeze. He's up into 5th place. Very, very tight space. Managed to somehow find it. I'm not even sure there was room to put a Formula 1 car, but Bendel certainly proved us wrong on that one, and he's up into 5th. And yes, as you're right, FEL Freeze, the tyres may come back to him towards the end of the race, but right now he is struggling and falling further back, and he's now going to fall into the clutches of Ice-T if he's not careful, who is also running on the harder tyres, but he has to stop again as this race unfolds.
Yeah. As well, Avesta did a really good job on doing the switchback on Matthias, as he got a really smooth and good exit out of Radion and Lasso's hairpin. Avesta getting somehow in AI mode for a second, so Björn is up on his gearbox already, and is he trying to go to overtake him, getting 2/2/2 of his time.
And iQuick's now overtaking Compassion, who looks like he's disconnected again. Compassion being controlled by the bot, so that's now a move up, and Colley's going to overtake as we return back to the battle between the leaders now as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radion. 200 miles an hour, high octane V6 turbo racing at its finest.
Watch for Lucas and Bendel.
Avesta trying to shake off the toe, can't seem to shake off that Red Bull. Is going to go for a big ballsy dive bomb at the inside, doesn't quite work out for him this time. Tucks back in after lap bombs.
Bendel once again.
To FEL Freeze once again making that overtake, and this is the nature Belgian Grand Prix circuit. It's okay if you get overtaken because DRS is so powerful.
Yellow flag, Coley got a big crash at the radio corner.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, completely lost it, and you can see already for the images, he's lost the best part of the front wing on his left hand side, lost all the end plates off it, cleanly broken off. And that's going to really cause him a problem, and he's already at the back of the field anyway, but he's going to have to stop to get that changed. And that's going to relegate him to the back of the field with Killer 7. Who's not having the best of times either. So, whereas Jaffa Baboon making his debut, sorry, not Jaffa Baboon making his debut, Bjorn making his debut, having an excellent debut so far in the Red Bull, Killer 7, and also Luke Burns, who's retired earlier in this race. Not so good for them.
Yellow flag for Coley. Spun. And as we speak, Matthias is really close to the Red Bull, and the Red Bull is really close to the Williams.
Yeah, they've all been hanging very, very close together. Who's left these guys behind is about a couple of seconds ahead, doing what he needs to do, managing that gap in the lead, managing the DRS to make sure he doesn't fall foul to when he overtakes. And right now, these three once again switching places, left, right, centre. You can barely keep up with it at the moment. And of course, guys,
it's going to be a big battle for P5 as Ice-T is connecting to them. He is in the DRS zone, as can he hold on to Bendel?
Well, Bjorn's got a great run, and Avesta Racing is trying to shake him off. He jinks right and left to break the toe, but this time, surely, Bjorn, is he going to make the move on the outside? Avesta goes deep on the inside again, but he's been punted a little bit.
As Kai retired from the session, but Bjorn overtook. Oh, they might collide.
Oh, and there's free wide going into Brussels now.
Yeah.
Oh, and Avesta Racing has somehow held onto that position again.
Yeah.
And Bjorn
got a really good exit compared to him, and touched, connected with him and giving him a big push as he almost DNFs into Blanchimont through Pouhon. And that made almost Avesta collect Bjorn with him, which luckily didn't happen for the Red Bull driver. Once again, chaos at the Belgian Grand Prix, as Troy can't really, Ice-T can't really match the pace of Lucas and Bendel, as they both are pushing to the limits in their Renault, Alpha and Mercedes. As Amish Compassion overtook TTV iQuicks as they are bending through Sector 2, and he made the good move stick in the end of Sector 2. Coming through Sector 3 is TTV iQuicks going to overtake him again. He has a lot of ERS to play with. compared to the Red Bull driver, as he does a really bad exit out of the corner from Grandma's house and can't connect with the Red Bull, as Bjorn is again really close to Avesta Racing. Is he going to try it once again?
But he's got a great run in him this time, probably the best run he's had for a while. He's got the DRS, he's literally just going to have a drag race coming down the Camel Straight. How it's going to be, and Avesta tucks in. Oh, but he's gone to the right hand side.
To the inside.
Not sure that was the right decision, but now he's going to have a compromised run coming through. Yeah, it's been good for him.
He made it overtakes, really good move from the Red Bull driver.
And he's locked his brakes hard into Brussels.
Oh, Matthias, can he make a move? Not really. 4 or 5 laps to go, as Kluis will extend his lead to 3.3 seconds. And while the Red Bull and the Williams are battling for their last second place in this Grand Prix, which is really chaotic so far, with 5 laps of pure chaos and pure full throttle racing to go, as Avesta is really close to Björn, as Avesta has more ears to play with, and Matthias is a bit losing the gap now, as Björn switches to the left, to the right. Can he hold on to it? TT5 quick left session. Avesta gets a really good exit. Is he going to try it around the outside of the bus stop chicane? Yes, he is. Björn holds on to the inside. Matthias gets really close to the gearbox of the Williams. Williams can't make the move. He is still in second place. Is he going for a dive-on at Atlasaurus hairpin?
He's gone for a quick move there, but he's going to be massively compromised on the exit, and that's going to help Matthias Gamer behind him.
Yeah.
Tuck him behind the Williams driver as it's going through now, as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radion, up excess of 200 miles an hour. You make one false move and you're going to end up in the wall, and it's a great exit move, but both of them are going to have DRS, and Bjorn is going to swift to the left. He's got his eyes in his mirrors full of a Williams and a McLaren, literally going to swamp him and mug him into the corner. 3 of them going in there.
Really deep onto the brakes, the Red Bull, Björn forcing Avesta to go wide. As Avesta's
and Avesta racing, almost losing it, and he's going to drop down into 4th place, and he goes for a move up the inside, and Brussels
really aggressive,
literally getting the shoulders out. Belgian Matthias, but surely into no name. Surely, how are these 3 going to keep it out of the barriers, and they manage it? This is excellent racing from these guys. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
And there goes Bjorn, but he's lost it again. And this is going to allow LR Bjorn to get away from these 2 now, because they're fighting hard, but they've got to be careful not to fall in. And now, Matthias, it seems now the harder tyres may start to be coming back to them.
Well, FS Racing is close to crossing 2 times, so
Ice-T,
I doubt it a little bit as it goes really wide there.
FEL Freeze and Ice-T starting to really catch Ben down. Of course, Avesta Racing, they've now broken away. Bjorn has broken away from these 2 now, so maybe he's got what he wants in terms of being able to confirm and consolidate that 2nd position. This is great stuff to see.
He closes up to Lucas really quick.
Yeah,
Bendel not keeping up with the pace of Matthias.
It's literally pushing each other along now.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see how penalties.
We'll
have to wait and see how penalties fan out in this race between the leaders. I'm not sure what sort of penalties that they may have. Might be worth having a look, Matthias, to see what penalties they have.
I don't have a clue how to do, but I'll figure it out like I always do.
So if you press start and go to the race director,
yeah,
and then if you go to R1 into penalties and press X on the driver, then it should be able to show you what penalties that they have at the moment.
Incidents.
Coming up to the final laps of the race now. If you haven't already, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. This is some excellent racing that we've seen so far, and we're hoping that you're enjoying it wherever you are around the world. Make sure to let us know in the chat, of course, and of course I probably should go back in, so as we've got a quick break before the final lap or 2.
Ooh, Björn has a penalty plus warning. Avesta has only 1 warning. Matthias has a warning.
So there you go.
Warning penalties.
So if that is right, then Bjorn, despite his excellent performance so far, is going to not finish on the podium. But we'll have to wait and see how the penalties unfold as this race comes to its conclusion. Just as a quick...
Laps will having none penalties, only one warning, so he's driving a really clean 20 laps so far as Lucas is trying to catch up to Bendel. It's still too far to get a good move as Troy, aka Ice-T, is really close to the Alfa Romeo's gearbox.
Yeah, so they're getting very close now, but we're going to start to see people be a bit more aggressive, a bit more ballsy, a bit more brave as now we start to enter the final embers of this race. It's been a great race so far, and hopefully we're going to be set for a grandstand finish. Plenty of on-track action going on.
Lucas gets a really slippery exit out of the Lesor's hairpin.
Let's go through O'Ridge and Raniel between them. But back for the battle in second place now as the Vesta Racing has got a great run on Bjorn, who can't really fend him off, and he goes to the outside with the DRS, down the camel straight, down the outside, and Vesta Racing up into second place.
Oh, they almost collide, but he locks his tire, which saves Lucas his left.
Just as you predicted, Matthias, the hard tyre runners are starting to come into their own towards the end of this race. Vesta Racing clawed up to the back of Bjorn, despite not being in DRS earlier, managed to get behind him and is now overtaking him into second place now. And Matthias Gamer looking very racy behind. He can sniff a podium, although he may already be on the podium without realising it yet, owing to penalties. We'll have to wait and see once the checkered flag drops. So just before we start the final lap, guys, just to let you know the answer to the question I asked earlier, only one person in the chat got that right, and the question was, which driver got the fastest lap in 2012? And this driver was related to someone who never did that, but also won here 6 times in his own career. Matthias, do you know which driver that was that got the fastest lap in 2012?
Rosberg.
No, it wasn't. So it was Bruno Senna in the Williams. So Bruno Senna in the Williams.
Ayrton Senna won 6 times in Belgium,
but never got a fastest lap, believe it or not.
How can you win 6 times on a single track?
Well, it's been done by plenty. I mean, Michael Schumacher's won here in Belgium quite a numerous number of times, but Ayrton himself,
Lewis Hamilton at Hungary,
and Ice-T is
7 wins.
So Ice-T has pulled into the pits and retired. So he's obviously been having technical issues. Renault not getting any luck. But we'll have to talk about that later, as with the final lap now. So we've got a Vesta Racing in second, leading Bjorn and Matthias Gamer behind him. What is going to happen? They're quite far apart. Quite disappointing that they're so far apart. It's almost anticlimactic now. But further down, FEL Freeze has gone up the outside, and again, not able to make the move on Bendel. So Bendel holding on.
One opportunity into the bus stop chicane.
It's going through now into Brussels, the battle for second, third and fourth as Roy Boy moves into 8th position. MDJ, despite an excellent start to this race, has fallen down the order and is now relegated to 9th position. Compassion is now back into the points. He was completely nowhere earlier, then he was back in, then he was nowhere again. And he's done 18 laps on those medium tyres. Great effort from him. Of course, assisted by the bot.
Watch the battle for second on track. Other guys saving ERS going wide here and there.
They look like they're going to use it for one big push.
Who is going to make the move?
But of course, this race has really, in truth, been about one man since the middle part of the race, and it's now coming through the final corner for Plusenbowl. It's free, out of free for the Ferrari driver, and he wins the Formula EuroLeague Champions League 2 Belgian Grand Prix. What a drive from him as a Vesta comes across the line in second. Bjorn is third, but Matthias Gamer will overtake him after penalties. And Matthias Gamer goes third as Bendel, FEL Freeze comes across the line behind Bendel, but overtakes him owing to penalties.
57 after. Oh, there's still
and Roy Boy's gone for a move. MDJ trying to go for a move. Oh, they touch. Who's going to get to the line first? It's Roy Boy across the line first. And MDJ is 9th, and Compassion finishing up the top 10 in the Red Bull. Half race by him, half race by the bot. A quick driver, but he's had some technical issues which has really cost him now. And Killer 7 on his debut now to round up the rest of the field will finish 11th with Collie in 12th. What a drive from Jaffa Baboon as well. What a recovery from the back of the field into 7th. He'll be very happy with that, Alex Bloomberg. As now we're waiting for
good recovery from 16th place.
We're waiting for the final driver.
Definitely my driver of the day, Alex.
Yeah, he's certainly been up there. Absolutely. I think all things considered, I I'm probably going to go a bit different. I'm going to give it to Bjorn. I think qualifying, it
Bjorn
wasn't...
did a good job.
I mean, as you can see from the position changes, Bjorn made up 6 positions in that race. Roy Boy made up 9. Alex made up 8. It's a fair play to him. But no, I'm going to give it to Bjorn, based on the basis that he was very nearly got a podium and made a great job on his debut. So well done to him.
Yeah.
Well done to many other drivers who put in a great job. But in truth, it's been all about this man, and this man is very quickly becoming the dominant force in the Formula Euroleague Champions League 2. Clearly, the class of the field, it's your winner of the Belgian Grand Prix, Pluisenbol, once again in the Ferrari, 3 out of 3. Can anybody stop this man from running away with this championship right now? Matthias, what are your thoughts on this race?
A really good race with a lot of action, good battles, good overtakes, good defending drive from almost everyone, and Pluisenbol just being the master of the league so far. But yeah, it's still a long season ahead where everything can happen, and I hope that we see him once shining in Tier 1 as he won the race by dominant 5.4 seconds.
So now to run off the top 10 to confirm it. Pluisenbol 3 out of 3 in the Ferrari, race winner once again. Avesta Racing started second, finished in second, couldn't keep up with the leader in the end. Matthias Gamer gets his next podium in the McLaren, second of the season. Bjorn on his debut, 4th in the Red Bull. FEL Freeze 5th in the Alfa Romeo. Bendel 6th in the Mercedes. Alex, great recovery from 15th on the grid up to 7th. Roy Boy from 17th to 8th, another great job. MDJ, not the best of races for him despite an impressive qualifying and early start, finishing 9th. And Compassion starting from the back of the grid, half the race driven by Compassion Bot, other half driven by him, completes the top 10. Killer 7 on his debut, 11th, and Collie, last of the finishers, finishing in 12th position. Well, what a great race, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you very much enjoyed that action. I very much did, and of course, Matthias, great to have you back in commentary once again. Congratulations, of course, to our Formula Euroleague champion, Darth FIFA, who was the only person to get the question right with Bruno Senna. So congratulations to him on that one. Clearly a great race driver and also very much a Formula 1 historian as well. So that is...
and
sorry, sir.
so now I have off the Tier 1 stream. And follow us on Instagram, all the social media, Formula I can't say that. Formula _Euro _league. Our Twitter is Euro_league without caps, and make sure to check our new website. Make sure to subscribe and like on the channel, and I hope to see you at tonight's race with you once again, Adam.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So yes, the website, do make sure to check that out. That's F1 European League. .wixsite.com/Formula Euro League. It's on the bio on the Formula _Euro _league Instagram accounts. Do make sure to check that out. It's got great content from all your favourite drivers, commentators and admins of your favourite online racing league on today. And also, yes, as Matthias said, don't forget to check out the race tonight, 6:45 UK time, 7:45 Central European time on the same channel. That's Formula _Euro _league YouTube channel for a great race in Formula Euro League. And Matthias, do you want to tell the fans where we're going to be going for the penultimate race of the Formula Euro League season?
In Monza, also a historical track.
The Temple of Speed. What a great circuit. Very much looking forward to that, and of course looking forward to the next race, of course, this time next Sunday in the Formula Euro League Champions League 2 event, which will be this time next week at Silverstone at the same time, so make sure to check that out. So that'll be a good show for some of the drivers there. One of my favourite tracks, so make sure to check that out, guys. Like, share and subscribe to the channel, really helps us out a lot. We appreciate that. And all that's left to say is thank you very much for joining us and inviting us into your homes this Sunday lunchtime, and we look forward to seeing you in the next Formula Euroleague Champions League 2. And I realise there needs to be a different name for that, because that's a mouthful in its own right. But make sure nonetheless to check us out next week, and we look forward to seeing you then. Take care